All right.
All right.
Thanks, folks, for your patience.
It.
Oh man.
Still
Still
connecting. I think it's
I think it's
Zoom meeting.
Zoom meeting.
But is it echoing for anyone else?
Really?
Yes. Okay. I don't think
this would be.
Maybe I can try creating a new Zoom link,
creating a new
just
Zoom
pasting
link,
it in
just
chat.
pasting it in chat.
I feel bad for anyone that's
Feel
joining
bad for anyone that's joining kind of late, but yeah.
So one moment.
Are you all hearing an echo with me?
Nope, still no echo.
No echo?
Yep, it's coming from me.
Yep, it's coming from me. And this is a completely separate computer.
And a separate account.
So I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Hey, everyone.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening. If I'm okay, would you like for me to go ahead and get started? If everybody can hear me, or is there an echo now that I'm speaking a little bit more? How are you all feeling? Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? No echo. Robert, thank you. Sharissa, thank you. I appreciate it. If you all do not hear an echo from me, I've heard from two of you already. What about the rest of you? So this is where we're going to make use of the chat, because we're going to have a little bit of fun in the chat this evening. So this is a test to make sure everybody knows where the chat is. All right. Jillian, no echo. So we've got Jillian, we've got Shanika, Robert, Sharissa. Anyone else that's on here that would like to let me know? Deshelle, did I say your name correctly, Miss Chanel?
It's Dashelle.
Dashelle, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Robert, stop playing with his chat. I love it. Okay, so happy Wednesday, everybody. And I am excited to be here with you. We are going to talk this evening about upskilling. So, as we have had just a touch of technical difficulties in the beginning, which is to be expected in the midst of all of this technology that we are utilizing right now. Every now and again, we are destined for a hiccup, and that is quite all right. So, I would like to understand who is in the room with us this evening. Okay, Robert, I am special. I'm the only one that does not have an echo. That's right. It's greetings from DeVry University with no echo. How about that? All right. So I know that this is an amazing organization, and I've had an opportunity to meet with Miss Ward or speak with her a couple of times. And I'm glad to be before you this evening. And thank you, Miss Ward, for allowing me to come and be a part of this meeting. Today, we're going to talk about upskilling. And as we talk about upskilling, I would love to hear a little bit about where you all are in your career. Are you in the right career right now, or are you doing a job? So, is this a career or a job for you that you're dealing with right now? And what is your level of education? And for those of you that might think those questions are a little too invasive, feel free to send me a private chat and let me know where you are in the stage of your career, and then number two, where are you with education. So if you can take a moment and do that for me. And then what I'll do is to ensure that we don't open up the lines. So we keep the lines muted because we want to make sure that if there is an echo that everyone is continuing to hear, that we minimize that disruption for those that are listening. So in the chat, either individually, privately, or in public, please let me know, where are you in your career? Are you pretty much in a place that you want to be based on the choice that you've made, the organization that you're working for, or is this just something to do in the meantime because you're still expanding your horizons and you want to continue to grow and you're not sure that this is the right field for you? And then number two, where are you from an education perspective? Okay. Okay. So there may have been a technical issue that has been fixed. Shanika, you want to come on and test it real quick?
Sure. What were the questions again?
Where are you in your career, and from an education perspective, where are you with your education?
Okay. Currently, I am a software developer.
Okay,
Echo's still there.
And
For
for
education,
I have my bachelor's
computer
All
science.
right.
in computer science.
Anyone else want to share? You all don't have to be quiet now. Would love to hear who's in the room. So would love to get some additional information from you.
I'll go. Oh,
Thank you.
mine's going. My name is Itobre. I'm a mentor and software developer. I'm currently getting my MBA right now.
And you currently what? I'm so sorry.
I'm getting my MBA. Right.
Awesome. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I see a career changer. You have been in your career for 2 years. You have your very good, your MED. Thank you so much for that. All right. So we have some of you at varying degrees in stages in your career. And this is what this is going to be speaking about tonight. It's going to be all about you and understanding what upskilling does for you as you are in the work world. So, in less than 3 years, we know that more than 73% of the jobs will require a college degree. And for most of you that are sitting on this call, that's no surprise to you because you are in the technology field. But what that also means is that there is going to be a need for you to continue to refresh and re engage because, as we all know, technology changes so quickly. So, we have to stay abreast and adept of all of the changes that are taking place in our world. So today, my name is Dawn Moore, Dean of Dean of Campus and University Partnerships, and I am with DeVry University. I'm so very excited to be here with you today. And this is what we are going to be talking about as it relates to this workshop. We're going to talk about why this is so important to you. We're going to share information about DeVry University. We're going to give you some tips, and then we're going to talk about education and career growth at the end of the presentation. So again, it's going to be upskilling for today's workplace. What exactly does that look like? Uncover pathways and different options that you may take in order to get there. And then most importantly, the certificate and the degree programs that DeVry University has, in addition to then how you're able to move forward if you're thinking about next steps. And when we think about this and why this is so important is depending on where you are, and I asked that question as it related to your career, because some of you are sitting in generalist spaces. So if you're in a generalist space and you have a desire to move and grow, then we want to make sure that we can give you exactly what you need so that you can understand the importance of upskilling in the workplace. And then how to find the program if offered through DeVry University to continue to grow in your quest to grow. So, whenever we think about upskilling and why it's important, well, there are a couple of things that we want to make sure that you know and that you're making that specific investment in you. So, as we think about that, there have been multiple studies as it relates to investing in you and upskilling and what that actually looks like. So, we recognize that based on the research that higher skilled adults seem to be healthier, they seem to have a happier outlook. They have an increase in productivity in the workspace, and then their skills allow them to be available and accessible to multiple genres, which means that they are not stuck to one particular field of study nor a particular workspace. We also want to make sure that as we think about those things and those reasons for increasing your skill set, it's we're also leaving that legacy. We're also teaching those that are coming behind us the importance of education and why that is so critical in our current spaces. Now, ultimately, whenever we look at this slide, and it is such a very interesting space to be in, and I want you all to do this for me, and I apologize that I didn't say it earlier. Thank you for responding in the chat. As I'm going through this, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to light up the chat for me, please. I love, you guys are not, I can't see your faces, and that really is okay. But what I don't want to do is to miss a question. So I want to make sure that if you have questions that you're able to utilize the chat function so that I may go back in here and even ask Miss Shanika to come in here with me to make sure that I am capturing all of the questions that are popping up, okay? So thank you all very much for that. So as we think about our current workspace, we recognize that we have at least 500,000 unfilled IT jobs. And when we think about those IT jobs that are unfilled, it's because we just don't have the skilled workers to go in and complete these activities. When we think about what's going to be needed for tomorrow, tomorrow's required skill set, it's not going to be the same as what's required today. We know that based on the pandemic, we've seen quite a few things that have changed. Are you sitting where you were a year ago? Probably not. Are you interacting in the way that you were a year ago? Probably not, because there have been so many things that have changed. Our environment has made a shift and shift pretty quickly. And we have had to do our due diligence to ramp up and to get up to speed so that our customers were not impacted by the change in the environment that we had no control over. So we want to make sure that even as you're going through this space and in this section, that you're able to identify and understand what's important to you. Are you okay with where you are? Are you okay in the role that you're in right now? Are you okay, if this is your career choice, to remain in the same space and that you're not seeking to grow? And if the answer to that is yes, then that's a wonderful thing because you found your passion and everything else aligns. But if you're with an organization that is going to require you to continue to grow your skill set, if you're working with an organization that has a customer base that is going to change from year to year and even from month to month, as we've seen, that is going to require some very intentional work on your end to ensure that you've got the tools and the resources that you need to be successful and to remain actively engaged with the company that you're in or with the company that you're with. So how do you do that? When we think about that, and this quote says it all, in technically focused areas, we have an ongoing need to continuously upskill our people. So regardless of your position with the organization, there are certain core skills that you've got to have which are going to impact you. And then when you think about a technically focused environment, there are going to be some ongoing training needs that are going to be there. So I want you all to come to the chat for me, and I want you all to join me in the chat. And I've got a question for you, and I want to hear your feedback. I want to see your feedback because you're in the chat. So as we're in the chat, I want you to tell me, what are some of those skills that you either had to learn or expand your knowledge in over the past year? What are those skill sets that you had to either learn or brush up on over the past year? Come into the chat with me, and I want you all to give me some insight there. What are the skills that you learned, or what did you have to brush up on? So for me, when it was working from home, I was not as familiar with these with the web platforms. So I had to brush up on the platforms that we were using, and I even went through a certification so that I could be better adept at managing and supporting our web-based meetings with our students and with our key clients. So, what is a skill that you either had to brush up on or learn in the midst of the pandemic? I love it. Mentoring peers, management, and leadership skills. Absolutely. I love that, Miss Ward, because in that particular situation, leadership looked very, very different. You were now leading you from the comfort of your home and then probably trying to manage others in that process as well. So that became very challenging. So thank you so much for sharing that. What about others? What are some of the skills that you either had to brush up on or that you had to learn over the past year? Yes, thank you for that. I see that someone else said leadership skills. So managing remotely, managing others while they were not in the workplace. That is perfect. What else do we have? Any other skills that you all would like to share? Because there was a lot. And even though it may seem very simplistic, just adapting to the environment was something that we had to brush up on. Was someone else getting ready to say something? I'm sorry. Honing your organizational skills. I love that, Sharisa. I love that. Honing organizational skills. Absolutely. So when we think about it, in order to do that, we had to be very intentional about those skills that we wanted to move forward and change. So when we think about our career pathways, we have to recognize that this is going to be a learning journey, which should provide clear pathways of action for us to immediately apply. So when we think about that, what does that mean to you? What does that look like for you? So when we think about the skills that you all have listed, when we think about even me going back and having to get certified in WebEx, what did that look like and why? Because in order to move, we got to be really deliberate. We have to have a clear understanding of what that looks like. And then we have to make sure that we put a plan in place because if we're not planning, that means that we're missing an opportunity to leverage all of the wonderful resources that we have available to us. What that means is that if we don't put it down in writing, if we don't have a goal, and if we don't put SMART goals to the test, then we are destined to have a whole lot of conversation about things, but not actually actualize success. So, what do you do every day to ensure that you're learning and that you're growing? What are some of those daily disciplines that you need to have? What are some of those specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound commitments, or as we call them, SMART goals, in order to ensure that you're utilizing your resources and realizing success? So, if we're not taking the time to invest in us and taking the time to create a plan for success, then we're destined to stay right where we are and not take advantage of this beautiful learning opportunity that we have in front of us to continue to grow in our careers. So when we think about visualization, and as we talk about today's rapid changes, and we think about our organizations and what they want us to have versus what is nice to have, we have to think about those skill sets that are going to be transferable. So when we think about, and you do your own personal inventory, and I want you to get ready to come to the chat with me again. When you think about your own personal inventory, what are a few of those skills that for you, you consider them as transferable regardless of industry that you would walk into? What are some of those transferable skills that are going to stay with you and remain with you regardless of industry? What are some of those skills? What are some of those transferable skills? For me, it's my ability to have interpersonal flexibility. So, regardless of where I go, I've got to be able to get along with people. And I've got to make sure that I've got the emotional intelligence to then recognize situations and adapt to those situations. What are some of the other skills that we would consider as transferable and that we take them regardless of location that we're at or where we're working? Industry. What are some of those transferable skills? And we're in the chat. So, what are some of those transferable skills that you all can take from position to position, organization to organization? What are some of those skills? What are some of those transferable skills? I mentioned communication and I mentioned interpersonal flexibility, technology understanding. Thank you for that, Robert, and leadership. Absolutely. If you're not, because ultimately we have to lead ourselves. Before we can lead others, we've got to lead ourselves and we got to make sure that we are espousing the values that we want our team to accept. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. What else do we have as it relates to transferable skills? Troubleshooting, I love it. Leading, mentoring, analytical, absolutely. I love it because if we're not thinking through things and if we're not showing up as the leader that we want our team to see, then they're missing an opportunity and we're missing an opportunity to continue to groom them as well. Absolutely. Problem solving, Jillian, I love it. Thank you so much for that. And I appreciate that. So, what I would like for you all to do is now that we have done this, and I know it's late in the day, so as I ask you to do this, I don't want you sleeping on me. So, what I'd like for you all to do is to take a moment and I want you to close your eyes because I want you to do a visualization exercise. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to create a blank slate. And I want you to forget about everything and I want you to just think about your blank slate. Now, in your mind, I want you to draw a picture of what career success looks like for you. And once you have envisioned what career success looks like for you, I want you to think about the action plan that needs to be created to support that goal. So, what I'd like for you to do, you're closing your eyes and you're thinking about what career success looks like for you. Are you managing others? Are you the CEO? Are you a CFO? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you leading a division? Are you managing globally? Are you giving speeches? Are you over the hiring process and recruiting for your organization? What does success look like to you? And you've heard me throw out a couple of different things because it's going to look differently for everyone. There is no right answer. So after you all thought about it, and whenever you all have gotten to where that you're at a good place, I want you to put done in the chat for me and then we'll move on. So when you've had an opportunity to visualize, and I didn't want to take up too much time because I know it's at the end of your day. Thank you, Shanika. I wanted to hear a couple of you say done. Absolutely, Deshelle. Thank you, Deshelle. Thank you. And I apologize because I know I just butchered your name. I apologize. So we've got two that are ready. As you all have thought about career success. Does that mean everybody else is still working and they need a minute? So as you are able to visualize your career success and you have had a moment to do that, I want you to put done in the chat. And thank you, Ms. Ward and Ms. Chanel, for your support. Thank you. Anyone else with career support? and they have realized and visualized what career success looks like. You put done in the chat. I need another one or two, and then we are moving forward. Robert, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So now that we have visualized, you have visualized what success looks like for you. Now's the time that we want to make sure that you're able to take inventory and understand what that looks like and what that means. Whenever you think about your career goals, they are very specific to you, and they will be very specific to you. When you think about it, a Dominican university kind of ties this up for us, and they reported that those who wrote down their goals not only accomplished their goals, but 13% that had the goals and wrote them down were actually achieving greater than those that just kind of thought about it. So whenever you think about those goals that you have, research shows that when we write them down, then we are able to execute and execute in a very specific way, in a very deliberate way. So what I'd like for you to do, and as we're thinking through this, I want you all to grab a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you all to make sure that you're taking note of a couple of things. One is that you write down your career goals. What are those goals that you have? You visualized them, you saw it, so now let's put it on paper. Once you've visualized it, we want to make sure that you're setting your goal reminders. We want you to find support from other people, so we want to make sure that you've got mentors on deck, and then we want you to take action against your specific goals. So one way to do that is definitely to create the SMART goals. So the goals that you've written should be done in a format that gives you a specific goal. You want to achieve a promotion or be in your next space by X date. You want to make sure that they are measurable. So are you able to track your progress? Are they attainable or achievable? If your goal is to be CEO tomorrow and you don't have a clear path to it, that's not an attainable goal. So we want to make sure we're tracking things that are going to be attainable, because we want to make sure that we're able to reach and achieve our goal. We want to make sure that it's relevant, and we also want to make sure that it's time bound. So we want to make sure that there's an opportunity to engage, again, very meaningfully, so that we understand how to move and move with purpose. In addition to that, when we think about how we're going to do that, we want to think about those activities that are going to get us there, those daily disciplines that we talked about earlier. What are things that we need to do every day? If you don't have a mentor, is it time for you to go get a mentor? Does the mentor have to be inside of your organization? Absolutely not. There are formal and informal mentors. The goal is to find someone that is doing what you want to do and then emulate their success. And when I say emulate their success, we want to make sure that you're asking them what it took for them to get to where they are. Now, your paths are going to be different, but at least you have an understanding of what that path looks like. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you're seeking out support from people that are not doing what you do. Because typically, people that are doing what you do are not going to be in a position to help you move in the way that you want to grow. So that means that our circle is going to have to expand. It doesn't mean that you're leaving anyone behind or minimizing the skills that people bring to the table. But what it is doing is opening yourself up to a brand new world of skill sets, people, networking opportunities, so that you can begin to glean from different experiences and expand your exposure scope. So we want to make sure that you're just not focused on what's in front of you, but then how you're going to need to plan to move forward. Again, that support from other people is looking like your circle, but it's also investing in you and then creating some new circles with networking opportunities and your mentorship, and then making sure that you're deliberate in moving forward with your actions. So as we think about that, and what does that mean to you? Well, DeVry University has 40 different career fields. And as we've got 40 different career fields, we've got six schools of six programs that we support. We've got business and management, engineering and information sciences, media arts, liberal arts, health sciences, and then we also have our Keller Graduate School of Management. So when you think about those six schools that we do have under the one umbrella, and you think about you think about what you'd like to do, and you think about your career opportunities, is there, whenever you sat down and you've written out your goals and you've written out your timetable, is there a need for you to go back and get an advanced degree? Do you need to maybe sharpen your saw, sharpen your saw, excuse me. So as you sharpen your saw and as you think about that, does that mean maybe a certificate program because you've already gotten a bachelor's degree, you've gotten a master's degree, and maybe it's a certificate program that you need to go back and get because you just want to get that little bit of additional support to be able to then move forward and continue to enhance your skill set. So when you think about your plan is going to be all encompassing to think about those things that are tangible and intangible that you're going to need to in order to move. Now, when you think about your education and what the beauty of education is that once you've acquired it, no one can take it away from you. So it's going to be all about you, how you engage, and how you move very deliberately in your next space. When you choose our tech path, which most of you are part of that technology field, if not all of you on this call, you think about the programs that are associated with our tech programs. DeVry University is deeply rooted in technology, and we've been in business for over 90 years and celebrating our 90th year and 90th anniversary this year. So when we think about technology, we want to ensure that we're harnessing the power of your future because we know technology is the future. And at DeVry University, we do have the programs that are rooted in technology, regardless of what discipline you choose. So with every program you're in, technology is a focal point. It allows you to understand some of the basic principles, but at the end of the day, it's going to be all about technology. We also have our bachelor's degree programs and as it relates to strategic thinkers. So our strategic thinkers want to understand from a business perspective what that looks like. What is the vision of your business? How do we want to move? How do you want to move? How do you want to grow? So our bachelor's degrees allow you to do just that and taking advantage of those very strategic concepts so that you understand how to lead and grow an organization. Those of you that have already started your programs and need to finish, we do have what's considered technical management. So it allows you to come in with a bank of credits and allows you to move forward so that you are able to get in to focus and then transition into a master's degree or to continue to flourish in your career. Again, a very meaningful way to do that. And then we also ensure that our programs are stackable. So even from bachelor's degree to master's degree, where you've started as it relates to different programs, you have an opportunity to continue to grow and learn, take those programs into your next area of study, and then continue to build upon that. And in addition to that, we also have certificate programs for our master's degree, and we also have project management, which allows you to come in either at the undergraduate, master's, or master's certificate level as well. Our graduate certificate programs are really neat. These are for students that are finishing up their bachelor's degree and have a need to really focus in on a particular area of concentration because they're going into a very specialized field, or you've got your master's degree and it's been a while since you've gone to school and you need to refresh your skill set. For example, I graduated with my MBA, and as I graduated with my MBA, I wanted to go back to school to sharpen my saw. So what did I do? I was very excited about data analytics and wanted to get more information. So I enrolled in the data analytics certificate program, and within 5 classes, I had my certificate and I was able to move forward. So whether you have a master's degree or a particular skill set that you're thinking about, DeVry University allows you that opportunity so that you can continue to grow, learn new things, build a different network or a more inclusive network, and then continue to grow in your skill set. And then we also have our MBA and specialized programs, so that even a certificate program before or after gives you the opportunity to continue to impact and improve your knowledge level. And we do know the bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and then certificate programs are definitely what you have available. And then DeVry University tailors its programs to our working adults. So that means that for our median student is typically about 32, 33 years of age, which means that you're already working, you've got full course loads, and you've got responsibilities that are outside of the household and within the household that you're maintaining and taking care of. So our intent is to get you in, allow you to focus on completing a program in your field of choice. While the pandemic is still moving, we are closed. All of our locations are closed, and we're handling all of our students virtually. You will have an opportunity to actively engage like you are right now. And as it relates to that, you're actively engaging with your professor and class members, which means that you have a very robust learning environment. We also look at your transfer credit. So for those of you that have credits that will be transferring in, we'll do a complimentary transcript evaluation for you so that you know exactly what credits would come into DeVry University. You will have a dedicated support team that begins immediately. So after our conversation this evening, if you have additional questions, you may reach out to me and I will ensure that you get to an admissions advisor so that they can help you address any questions that you may have. We also have a career services team that works specifically with our students. They help them with resume writing and interview techniques and tips. We also have our student support advisors that help you with your financial aid and academic planning. And then we also have our e-learning platforms and our online resources such as tutoring. So you can even do tutoring via this Zoom platform or a web-based platform that allows the virtual learning. So for those that need to see someone, this virtual platform allows you to do it as well. My contact information is right here. And then the other thing is I also have it in the chat, and just put it in the chat because if there is a need for you to reach out to me via phone, via email, or if you are ready to get some additional information from DeVry University, you may select that link in the bottom so that you can get directly to an admissions advisor, and then we can give you a call back to address any questions that you may have. Now, I would like to see what questions there are in the chat. We use the learning platform that we use, and thank you the e-learning platform, Robert, excuse me. I know exactly what you meant, but it's Canvas that we use. Canvas, and then we also use WebEx as well. You're very welcome. What other questions are there? All right. Well, if there are no other questions, I would like to thank you so much for your time this evening. Ms. Ward, would you like to come on and give us a few parting words, or was there anything that you would like to share?
Sure. Dean Dunn, do you mind stop sharing?
Dean Dunn, do you mind stop sharing?
I think that might help. Yeah, thank everyone for joining. Again, I'll repaste the esteemed Don's contact information and also a link to our session that we have coming up July 21st. The theme for that session is, or the topics for that session is the whys of cloud computing. But sorry about the technical difficulties. Wanted actually to probably learn a bit more about you all's backgrounds, especially since we're a bit smaller group this evening, but for like at the sake of time, it's probably fine to just cut it here. But if you all have any questions, again, feel free to contact me or Dean Don for any questions. And for anyone that's kind of their first time joining BDPA, thank you for joining. Again, I didn't really get to give kind of a spiel on BDPA, but it seems like a lot of you all are still here that joined earlier. So essentially, BDPA, we are a IT professional networking group. For those that maybe this is your first time joining. And we have presence working with IT professionals. So we host these sessions that Dean Don luckily or thankfully has agreed to help us out with, and hopefully we have a couple more sessions coming up in the near future. And then also the session that's coming up on July 1st. And then we also have our STEM program that we're pretty active in. It's wrapping up in another month or so for this season, but from January to about August, typically we're working with students and introducing them to computer science topics and concepts. So when the next season comes around, if anyone's interested in volunteering, feel free to reach out to me now. Something that we've been trying to, I think, kind of highlight a bit in the recent meetings is like, I guess all skill sets are kind of needed. Like for me, my background is a developer, but anyone that's kind of not necessarily a developer, but other skill sets. So I saw there's QAs, there are some cybersecurity folks that are on some of our previous sessions. So that's also learnings that we could give to students. So if you're interested in kind of sharing that at any point, we'd be happy to have you to kind of introduce like other STEM careers or STEAM careers to students. Let's see. But I think that's basically it. Yeah, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. I think once you click that LinkedIn event link, that's to the BDPA Atlanta page. So feel free to follow that. And if there anything else after this, feel free to ping us. But thank you for joining, and hopefully the audio is a bit better now.
Thank you all.